Let's take a look at this game, Hangman, which was one of the, I guess it's the first game we're going to look at, and it requires a little bit of extra thinking. Let's think about science as a broad field in which there are multiple components. One of them is learning a language you're going to use, and the other one is the logic behind all these type of activities and assignments, projects. In this case, when it comes to a game, more thinking goes into it. So let's take a look at this link. This link is the one that is going to give you where we're going to be getting the first stages of the game itself, which is the Hangman. Here's an interesting flowchart. This is designed by the author of the book, Ascii Art, that we've been using in different ways, of course. I ask you to look into his chapter. Let's take a look at this chapter over here. And this chapter is just for the flowchart. Take a look over here. All it says is Designing Hangman with flowcharts. Now, let's think about this. Here is the actual program. Well, it's only pieces and bits of it, and we're going to see in a minute the whole program. But here is going to show you the original thing, which is, okay, so if you play in Hangman, right, you start with letters in which it tells you how many letters you need. Based on how many letters you actually guess correct, you can continue, and if they are incorrect, then it starts drawing the little man over here hanging from there. So we also are exposing this chapter with Ascii Art, in which we can do this when we have those 3 single quotes. And that's important, otherwise it will take us a long time to actually come up with the right location where each of these characters you would put it, because you need the spaces, blah, blah, blah. But the 3 single quotes is going to allow you to protect the format that you originally type in the program. And then when you program runs, it will respect that format. Instead of, crunching everything, it looks very messed up. So here's the whole flowchart. And it's a very general flowchart. There are more details to it. So here it starts from the beginning. We always have a start and the end of flowchart. He's only using rectangles. We like to use a few more things, like, for example, whenever we have to make a decision, we have diamonds. And then the rest probably is just rectangles. The start and the end should be ovals. But we're not going to worry much about that right now. What we really have to worry about is the arrow tips, because that tells you the flow of the instructions. And that is the reason why we call it flowchart. We need to know how things flow to know where it's going next. So as you can see at the top, we come up with a secret word. Pay attention to some of the words over here that they use. Then show the drawing blanks for player. Then we have over here, ask player to guess a letter. Here's what we call the input, prompt the user. And then from here it starts, we can have 2 possibilities in which one of the letters belongs to the secret word and the other one is not. And based on these 2 outcomes, then we might take different flows or different paths, if you want to say it that way. And then once a condition is actually met, we end up with the end. I ask you to spend a little time looking at the stages of this flowchart. Here is the first one, in which we're going to be doing these pieces in the next posts. And as you can see, the flowchart keeps on growing. And that's exactly what we're going to do with the code, with the program itself. And as it keeps on growing, it should be able to complete the actual flowchart that you saw at the top, at the beginning, in the front. And then, of course, you end up over here. As per if you want to play again. All right, so that will be something that you need to have accessible to in your desktop. So the link to that is right here. You saw me clicking over here. This is the final look of the very general flowchart. So if we go back now to module, we're going to have some questions about the hangman. So let's go right here. Click at the next one. And what do we have in this post? What's over here? Here you have the code for the hangman. Actually, this is the code for all the programs that we could potentially look at. I know for sure that there is a portion of them that we are going to be using. So here in this particular one, which is the first link, click on that one, and it's going to give you a zip file, a compressed file. Make sure you put it in a folder that you can go back to look at it. So my Python is right here, and I put this for this here, and then the programs that I wrote myself. I think I put the code, I think I put it right here because this is everything, not necessarily for the last unit. Most likely we have done that already. But in case that you didn't, or in case that you are the new computer or you're reorganizing your folders, this is your chance to look at that. You can see over here the book online, and you can go to, for example, what we just looked at. Here's the Designing Hangman with the flowchart. And this is where the 5 questions are coming from, chapter 8, which is right here. So in this chapter 8, if you click right here, I'm asking you to go over some of the stuff that is over here. It's easy to read. It's very simple. Take a look at the split, function, lower function, upper function. Remember, this is the first time that we can feel confident talking about functions because you already have written some programs with functions. And definitely you know what functions are. These are all functions already provided for any type of strings. And we're going to use it. You're going to see soon that we're going to be using it right in here at the first one. So if you download the code, then you will be able to get this code in your project, in your folder, without these numbers over here. So don't copy and paste from here because you downloaded it from that link over here. All right. So you can see it that I actually opened it up. Here is my hangman. And this is very long over here. And we're going to look at this in a minute. Let me go back to where we were right here. Start this, so I'll touch the top. That shakes my camera. But I just want to make sure that you know where things are here. Now, I want you to take a look at that chapter 8. Look at the program. What is Hangman Picks? What happens when you do this particular code? You can do this in shell. So if we just take this over here, and as you can see, what are they? First of all, what are these 3 things that it has a plus in between them?